Hey, welcome to the very first Worry-Free Financial Podcast. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eric Ebers, and this has really been a passion of mine for quite some time. For maybe some of you maybe have a hobby of hiking, maybe you have a hobby of playing video games. Well, one of my hobbies is just doing research and staying up to date on finances. And then it's a gift, it's a hobby, and it's also paired with a passion of helping people. And so that's really what this is all about. It was intended originally to just be for a ministry purpose, but I believe there's a lot of people that are outside of our church that need this information as well. And so the name Worry-Free Financial comes from a potential future business name. Basically, the format of this, I'd like to do this podcast on a weekly basis, one a week. The format's going to be what's the current climate in the economy, and what questions can I answer that have come in throughout that week. So I'm going to start off, obviously we're in a very interesting season in our economy, both as the United States and as the whole world with this coronavirus. And there's been tons of job loss, there's been business owners affected, there's been people directly affected by the virus. So I'm hoping that first and foremost, for those of you that maybe are directly impacted by this, I'm hoping that you can get something out of this that will help maybe ease some anxiety. You'll get some information that will help you through that process. And then at the end, I will have information for contacting me for various things if you have other questions. So first of all, for those people that maybe are feeling some financial strain from this, the government passed a historic $2 trillion stimulus bill last night. And for most adults, about 90% of adults will be receiving $1,200 here in the next couple of weeks. If you're married, it'll be $2,400. And then plus, in addition to that, $500 per child under 17. Now there's some stipulations on those that will receive the money. It's based on 2019 tax returns if you've filed. Otherwise, they'll look at 2018 tax returns. They're looking for people that have, at an individual level, less than $75,000 of adjusted gross income, or for those that are married, $150,000 combined income. Adjusted gross income, it's phased out at the levels of $99,000 for individuals and $198,000 for those that are married. You would receive some amount until you hit those levels, and then you wouldn't receive anything if you're above those. So you can expect that in the next couple of weeks. One stipulation, as I've just been doing some research, is this isn't final yet in terms of all the details of it. There's some speculation that there will be a part of your 2020 tax return will be looking at your adjusted gross income for 2020, and if you fall into a different range than what you were in 2019 or 2018, there's a chance that you would have to pay back some of that stimulus that you'll receive. In addition to this part of the stimulus package, there are also going to be federal loan payments that are suspended through September 30th. So basically what this means is if you have a federal student loan, you won't be required to make any payments until September 30th. That doesn't mean that you can't make payments. There will not be interest accruing during that time, so this could be an opportunity for you to maybe pay down some of those student loans, especially if you're also a recipient of the stimulus package of the $1,200 or $2,400, and you're not directly affected financially. That may be a great opportunity for you to just redirect that directly to paying off some of that debt. In addition to that, there's unemployment expansions. Individuals that are unemployed will receive an additional $600 per week for 4 months. This is on top of anything that you've already get for unemployment. I would advise anybody that's been lost a job in this time to go ahead and file as soon as possible, because there have been about $3.3 million or 3.3 million unemployment claims related to this coronavirus, and so you're going to want to get on top of that and make sure that you're filing that as a historic level, far greater than we ever saw even during the financial crisis of 2008. For businesses, there will be a variety of different things that help. One of those is some loans that don't have any interest for 6 months. One question I've had specifically is around rental evictions. If you have a rental property and you're currently renting to somebody, part of this stimulus package is that you are not allowed to evict somebody for 120 days related to not receiving payments. Now, there's kind of a domino effect for those of you that maybe are a renter. Now, the person you're renting to has been forgiven of any payment. I don't know that incentivizes them not to make that payment, but you potentially now will eat the financial part of that. And so if you have a federally backed loan, part of the stimulus package also gives a forbearance of 60 days with the ability to extend 4 periods of 30 days on that. So basically what that means is you need to work with your individual lender, and if you're unable to pay due to financial constraints because of the coronavirus, they will grant you this forbearance of 60 days, and you can extend that 4 times with 30 days each time. The tax deadline was also extended to July 15th, so there will be many people that would still benefit from filing taxes sooner than later. If you would be expecting a refund, you'll want to do that as soon as possible. But if you do need an extension beyond that July 15th date, it will still extend you just to the October 15th date. Taxes are still due on July 15th, but you can still file for that extension. For those that have been directly impacted by this virus, there's a couple of different options for you. One of those is the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, and this will allow you to have 80 hours of sick time. That's for full-time workers. I believe it's prorated for part-time. And this includes not just being sick due to coronavirus, but if you've had to follow a shelter-in-place or stay-at-home as we have here in Washington State, that would qualify for that too. And from the employer side of that, employers will be able to get a refundable tax credit for those benefits that you're paying for those employees that have been asked to stay at home. That will be done through your Social Security taxes that you file. You also have the potential to take advantage of the Paid Family and Medical Leave Act if you've been directly affected in terms of you've either contracted the virus or a family member has. And then obviously your unemployment benefits. If you have unemployment benefits, if you've been laid off, you want to file for that soon. Unfortunately, due to this rapid virus impact on the economy, there's been several people that have probably realized some things that maybe they wish they would have prepared for. And some of these are really just foundational, fundamental, general money management principles that everybody should follow. And some of these are having an emergency fund. This isn't the first time, and this won't be the last time that there's an emergency that causes chaos in the economy. I would consider this, we're either in a recession or we will be in a recession very soon. And this isn't the last time that's going to happen. So you need to save 3 to 6 months would be ideal for you to have saved up so you can weather the storm the next time this happens. And another thing that's being tested is insurance. You have to, specifically health insurance and life insurance are two that are very highlighted from this. Testing for the coronavirus should be free, but if you're insured, you maybe would, and you were hospitalized, you may end up having a few $1,000s of hospital bills. But if you're uninsured, it could be tens of thousands of dollars. And literally, if you do not have health insurance, it doesn't matter what other things you've done to plan financially, that can totally derail those plans. So that would be one of the very top priorities. Before I did anything, before I paid off debt, before I invested in my retirement, before I did anything like that, before I purchased a home, I would make sure I have health insurance. That's just a very strong recommendation I have on that. Before you buy an expensive iPhone, or before you even have some non-essential things, you need health insurance. That is an essential thing. Oil price war between Saudi Arabia is another thing going on between Saudi Arabia and Russia. I would expect that prices at the pump will soon drop to about $2 per gallon. Now, not a lot of us are trapped at home, so you're not going to be able to take advantage of those as much as you maybe would have in previous times. I would actually expect this to continue to decrease even lower than that, as production will be slowed because of the supply and demand. With 60 or 70% of airline flights closed and not nearly the amount of traffic on the roads, our gasoline usage has dropped drastically, and that's going to hit that demand on oil. And so I would expect that they're going to start to hit a point where they're not able to store the oil that they're producing right now. And so there's going to be some production halts. And so we may have even lower prices than that. Another question that's come up frequently is around housing. And one of the things specifically is, okay, this is maybe a great time to purchase a home. And there may be yes and no to that. I wouldn't expect house prices to plummet because of this. You will see interest rates lower because the Fed lowered the interest rates, and it may be a great time to make some moves there. But in terms of buying a home, the reason in 2008 that house prices plummeted was because it was a housing crisis. This is not a housing crisis. If anything, I would say it's not caused by any direct person, but it's a entertainment, travel, and hospitality crisis. Those are the industries that are being most affected by this. And so I wouldn't plan on oh, this is going to be a great time for me to now make a home purchase. Interest rates, like I mentioned, will be dropping. They're either going to be or already have hit kind of some all-time lows, so it's a great time to refinance. And I can help you assess whether that is the right choice for your specific scenario and situation. I'm also able to walk you through that process and help you actually do that because I'm a licensed mortgage originator. I'll have my licensing and contact information below if you would like to kind of go through that process with me. Basically, I will also be doing free financial coaching as part of that process if you'd like to receive that. Because that's something that I think is just important to help you realize, yes, this is a great decision, this helps us to do this, this, and this that maybe we're not already doing. So that's something I'd like to be able to help with. And then the other thing is related to investing that people are asking questions on. And so one of the things is when is the right time to buy, to hold, and to sell? And my personal take on that is that the right time to buy is always now. There's times like today that there is a great buying opportunity. But if you're not already invested in the market, you need to start investing into your retirement before you start investing into just jumping into individual stocks. If you're invested in your retirement, my personal plan would be to have a long-term plan where you have a plan and you stick to it. You're taking advantage of dollar cost averaging by continuing to do the same contributions you've done in the past. You're buying that stock at a discount. Historically, the market has always rebounded and it's always gone higher than it ever was before. Even before a recession, the next time it will hit a recession, it should be at a higher point. And so I don't make major moves in the market. However, if you do have excess cash to invest in individual stocks and you already have a plan for your retirement, now is an absolute great time to take advantage of that and to potentially make some moves to find some stocks that are maybe great values, have great future potential outlooks. But I don't believe, personally, I don't believe the market has hit rock bottom yet. I know if you're watching stock prices over the last 3 days, you've seen some steady increases in stocks, and that is all related to the stimulus package that was just signed. I would expect that as some people see these unemployment rates and see the impact on the supply and demand in the economy, we're going to see some more of this roller coaster. I believe we've seen the biggest dips we're going to see, but I don't know that we've hit the bottom yet. So we've only seen a couple parts of the story so far. We've seen the part where the Fed put in place the stimulus program. We've seen the lower interest rates by the Fed. Those are two things that we can control 100%, and we can kind of help control the economy a bit. But the third, and what I actually believe is the biggest piece of the puzzle, is really containment and treatment of the coronavirus. Now we don't know when this is going to be cured. We don't know how long it's going to affect our economy. We don't know how many jobs will be lost. We don't know the impact on the supply and demand yet of various different industries. And so what I've kind of done, I am investing in some individual stocks at this time. I'm using it as an opportunity to make some purchases. And I've set aside a certain amount of money for investing in both my future and my wife's future, and then in our son's college. And I've put about, so far I've made moves on about a third of what I plan on doing during this season. There's no way to time the bottom of the market perfectly, so I believe this chunking approach, where I'm putting a little here, little there, is the best approach for the average person. If you already have retirement in place to be able to do that. I'm hoping that this was helpful. I'm hoping that you're able to glean some stuff from it. I hope it helps you make some decisions, maybe eases some anxiety. Maybe there's even some people that didn't realize that you're going to be expecting some money here in the next couple of weeks that can maybe help relieve some anxiety. So I'm hoping that I can make this more worry-free for you. And please let me know in the comments if you have anything to say, anything to add, any questions for next week that I can help answer. But I hope this has been helpful, and I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.